Okay, let's talk about the internet. I mean, we use it all the time, right? For everything. But have you ever really stopped and thought, how does this thing actually work? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the tech that basically runs our lives.
I mean, it really does feel like magic, doesn't it? You click a button and boom, a message, a photo, a video, it just zips across the entire planet in milliseconds. So what is actually going on in that tiny little split second? Between you hitting send and your friend texting back, got it.
Just think about your day so far. Seriously, did you have a meeting on Zoom? Maybe an online class? Did you buy something? Or just text your family? All of that, every single one of those things, is powered by the exact same underlying system.
And here's the best part. It's not magic at all. It's actually a super brilliant, really logical system. And to get it, you really only need to understand 3 core ideas. That's it. Just 3. You ready? All right, let's jump in.
So first things first, let's start with the big picture. What even is the internet?
Okay, we've got to get one thing straight right off the bat. The internet is not a cloud. I know. We see that little cloud icon everywhere, right? But it's not some fuzzy, abstract thing floating up in the sky. Nope, it's way more real, way more physical than that.
So if it's not a cloud, what is it? It's actually pretty simple. The internet is a global network of networks. That's the phrase to remember, a network of networks. It's literally millions of smaller networks, like your Wi-Fi at home, the one at your office, your cell phone provider's network, and they're all linked together, all agreeing to play by the same set of rules. Yeah, this really sums it up perfectly. When you boil it all down, the internet is a system built for one single reason: to connect our devices so they can share stuff, so they can share data. It doesn't matter where they are in the world.
And that's the thing. The internet is a physical thing. It's made of actual, tangible hardware. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of miles of fiber optic cables buried right under our streets. We're talking about these massive cables lying on the ocean floor, connecting entire continents. Seriously, there are enough of them to wrap around the Earth dozens of times. And then you've got the wireless signals and satellites that fill in all the gap.
Okay, so we've got the big idea down. The internet is a network of networks. Cool. So let's zoom in a little bit. What exactly is one of those networks?
Well, at its most basic level, a network is super simple. It's just a group of connected devices, the fancy term is nodes, that can communicate with each other and share things. Like sharing one internet connection or letting everyone use the same printer. And believe it or not, every single network out there, whether it's the tiny one in your house or a massive one in a giant data center, it's got the same 3 parts. First, you have the nodes. That's your stuff, your computer, your phone, your smart TV. Second, you've got the links. Those are the connections, right? The physical cables or the invisible ones like Wi-Fi. And finally, part 3, the rules. This is the really important part. It's a shared language, a protocol that dictates how data gets sent and received. And you're actually surrounded by these networks all day, every day. Your home Wi-Fi? That's a network. The one at your office? Yep, that's another one. These little individual networks, they are the Lego bricks that build the entire global internet.
Okay, now this is where things get really cool. So we know what the internet is, a network of networks, and we know what a network is. But how does your stuff, your email, that video you're streaming, how does it actually move across all this?
Okay, so here's the big secret, the aha moment. When you send something online, it doesn't go as one big chunk. If it did, it would be so slow. It would just clog up the whole system like a giant traffic jam. Instead, your data gets chopped up into these tiny little pieces called packets. And what's absolutely fascinating is what's inside each one. It's not just a little piece of your file. No, it's like a complete little package. It's got the sender's address, the receiver's address, and, get this, instructions on how to put the whole thing back together when it arrives.
This is honestly the best way to think about it. Imagine you have to mail a huge 500-page book to a friend. You're not going to try and stuff it into one giant, awkward envelope, right? Of course not. You'd take each page, put it in its own little envelope, write the address and the page number on each one, and then send them all off. That is exactly how the internet sends data.
So let's follow the journey. First, your data gets broken up. Then, each little packet goes off on its own adventure. They travel independently, and they might even take totally different routes to find the fastest way there. Along the way, things called routers, which are basically the traffic cops of the internet, are telling each packet where to go next. Then, once they all arrive at the destination, which happens in a blink of an eye, your device looks at the instructions on each packet and puts them all back together in the right order. It's incredible.
And this system, this whole idea of packets, is literally what makes the internet we know and love possible. It's super fast because tiny pieces can move way more easily than big ones. It's incredibly efficient because millions of these little packets from all different people can share the same cables without causing a big logjam. And it is so reliable. Think about it. If one of those little envelopes gets lost in the mail, the system just says, hey, can you resend page 247? It doesn't have to ask for the whole 500-page book all over again.
All right, so let's pull it all together. We've gone over a lot. But why does any of this foundation really matter?
It comes back to those three core ideas, right? 1, a network is what connects your devices. 2, the internet is what connects all of those networks together all over the world. And 3, packets are the clever little messengers that let our data zip across that entire system super fast and super reliably.
And knowing this stuff is so important. Why? Because when you understand these basics, you suddenly have the key to understanding so many other huge topics in technology. Things like cybersecurity, how we protect those little packets, or cloud computing, what that cloud really is. Even how massive AI systems talk to each other across the planet. It all comes back to this. So there you have it. The internet isn't magic after all. It's a real, physical, and honestly, a brilliantly designed system. Now you know the basic rules of the road for the information superhighway. So the only question left is, what else do you want to go explore?